folks, welcome back to Three's In. I think sometime, late summer 1987, perhaps early fall, our wing commander, Bob Rohatch, had decided to throw a beer party for the wing in one of the hangars on base. He had just made Brigadier General and was pretty pleased about it. And by golly, we were going to help him celebrate. At the time, I was a 12th Student Squadron Commander, and what I liked doing on Fridays was knocking off classroom instruction and flying about 1 o'clock and heading out to the golf course for a round of golf, either 9 or 18 holes, just depending on what the occasion lent itself to it. It was an informal setting where I could talk with the guys, the younger guys, and they could talk to me, and we kind of get a lot of communication done that way, and it was something we really enjoyed. So that afternoon, we knocked off even a little earlier than that to get out to the golf course because the beer call was slated to begin about 3 or 3:30. So we got out there, and of course there's a little bit of beer going around with us too, but we just had a ball. And come around 3 o'clock, we all got back to the clubhouse, changed back into our flight suits, and we were all going to go over to the hangar, which was on the one of the hangars on the east side of the field. So we started mustering around, and I thought, you know what? We've already paid for these golf carts. Why not take them? It sounded like a good idea to me. So we put together a 4-ship of golf carts, 8 of us, and we took off across the base. So we came out of the parking lot to the golf course around the perimeter and through the base until we got to the hangar where the beer party was, and it was packed. But the doors were open, the hangar doors were open. So we drove in the hangar in trail formation, one behind the other, and just kind of snaked our way through, and people were just going nuts. They were hooting and hollering, and then when we pulled up, we just pulled up in an echelon formation and then parked it, got out, and guys were already handing us beers. They thought that was pretty cool. I did too, matter of fact. But anyway, so we drank a beer and shook General Rohatch's hand and so forth, and then got back in our vehicles, looked over everybody, gave them the startup signal. And one of the last things I remember hearing was the base commander, Shambo, on his walkie-talkie. I'm pretty sure he was talking to the air police. He says, listen, he says, you're going to have 8 guys coming back across the base on golf carts. Yeah, they're in flight suits. Leave them alone. They're harmless. Cool. So we start heading back to the golf course, and we went by the squadron. Well, by then, several of us needed to cycle off the tank. So what the heck, I just happened to know where the keys were. They were in my pocket. So we pulled in the squadron and went in and took care of business. And while we're there, each of us grabbed another beer. So we come walking out of the squadron, and there's this hippie-looking guy that was standing there, and he said, pardon me, he said, would you have any idea how I can get to the golf course? And I said, sure, we're heading there now. I said, why don't you just follow us? He was in a blue Toyota. I can still see it today. So he says, okay. So we get in our golf carts and fire them up and start heading back. Well, we drove to the south end of the field there and was going to make a right-hand turn. And then I remember Shambo telling the air police, leave them alone, they're harmless. So I thought to myself, now wait a minute, we got a choice. We can either drive around the perimeter road, which is a long way, or just cut across the taxiway, or the ramp and the taxiway. Well, and then cut across the golf course. We're in golf carts, no problem. So, sounded good to me. So we start heading across the ramp in between rows of airplanes, and I hear this voice from the back saying, Colonel, damn it, Colonel, turn around, sir, Colonel. So I turned around, and there's the other 3 golf carts, and Furface in his Toyota follow me. His eyes were about this big when we realized we was in the middle of these airplanes. Well, thank God he did a 180 and booked out of there. He wasn't going to follow those crazy guys. Anyway, so we get across the ramp, no problem. Cops were there waving at us. Furface had turned around early enough that he wasn't seen or whatever. Not my problem anyway. I had permission to go across. So anyway, we go across the golf course, pull up to the clubhouse, and there's the club manager standing there. And he said, "Who's in charge here?" And as much as I didn't want to admit it, I said, "That would be me." And he said, "Who gave you permission to take these golf carts off the golf course?" And I said, "That would be Lieutenant Colonel Scott McCabe, the commander of the 560th. He thought this would be a kind of fitting way to recognize General Rohatch's accomplishments." "Okay, thanks a lot." It worked. So we got in the cars and headed on our way, and I never heard another thing about it. But to this day, I can see Furface sitting there in that Toyota behind it, eyes big as teacups. Holy crap. Anyway, good to see everybody here. Stay out of trouble and don't drive on the ramps. See ya.